It's early morning for us.
Got a new recording schedule. How are you liking this one?
We had to adapt a bit this week, but that's all right. That's all right. It'll do.
Oh, by the time also we get this up and running, we didn't even do our Halloween costume piece.
Halloween costume.
Yeah, I was going to say last episode, I was like,
yeah.
we would theoretically have to start planning, but look.
We missed the window.
You know, the Halloween one was always a stretch goal if we think about it.
Yeah. Also to our global listeners, like, I mean, Halloween isn't that big in Australia anyway, so.
Tell that to the kids, man. You remember? Okay, so we've got a Halloween story over here because here we're in Australia, right?
Yeah.
Halloween's gotten really commercialized now, eh? Remember
What do you
when
mean?
I was gonna name the name of my nephew, but remember when there's like elite trick or treating, like where
Elite.
kids get really snobby about the sort of candy that they get. You remember when they
Yeah.
gave Kinder Surprise?
There was a Kinder Surprise in one of the houses we went to, and I'm like, that's freaking next
It's
level.
funny.
That's like primo.
That is primo, and I remember which house it is. Do you remember? Because I remember.
I also remember.
So I'm gonna
You
go
kept
there.
tabs.
We're
and
gonna go there. We're gonna go there, or we've gone there already, and
Yeah.
we're gonna see what the goods are this
and
time
if
around.
they don't have it, it's fine because we're in a high inflation environment. Those damn Kinder, because you can't buy.
Kinder Surprise is what, like $8?
I don't know, but
yeah.
you can't go to Costco and get like 50.
Oh.
No, you can't. That's what I mean. Like you know what I mean. You can't stop thinking about it. All right, can we move on?
On
Tell me
bueno.
Kinder Surprise.
Bueno.
And it's wild because like Kinder Surprises are banned in US.
Is
but-
it? Why?
Why?
Because choking hazard
Oh,
with the toy.
Is Kinder Surprise an Australian thing? Nah.
I think it's.
Is it?
Isn't
It
it?
must
Is
be
it? Is it?
Tom,
Is it?
like, right?
Isn't it? I'm gonna say all good chocolate things come from Switzerland.
Okay, but we agree that the
But
your,
also Kinder also like I think it's Italian.
you're talking about the name.
Well,
See, Sean says it's
yeah,
French.
bueno.
Oh damn! The Italian company Ferrero
Yeah.
began
Wait, it's
manufacturing.
by Ferrero?
Oh
Yeah.
well, I should have known. It's all about the circular.
Kinder
It's all about the
Surprises in
circular one.
1974. Okay, all right. Well,
let's start.
while we're talking on food, let's start off at home. They recently just revealed the new Masterchef judges, guys.
Oh.
Because you're hot, then you're cold.
You're yes,
Yes,
then
no,
you're
no.
no.
Okay, you know what?
No.
Smash cut
All
to
right,
the
you
last
know,
episode we
What's
discussed.
what's Kev's apology
I-
video? Get a
I have
ukulele
no
and
apology-
everything.
I have no apologies, but can we say the names, please? Like of the new squad. The
Okay.
new it's a Fantastic Four now as well, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
We'll
interesting.
talk about
Okay,
that,
so yeah, recently Channel 10 had their upfronts. They announced a bunch of shows, and then finally they had to reveal the new judges. So new judges. So Andy is coming back. And then there's 3 new people. Or well, there's another return. So first new person is food critic journalist Sophia Levin.
Who?
We have
Chance
Michelin.
can play the role of the
the extra one.
Yeah.
Michelin star chef Jean-Christophe Novelli. He's French.
She's French.
And
sorry, that's Chance. Yeah,
that's
the French.
French.
Yeah.
And then of course Kev's favorite Poe is returning
Pew, pew,
to
pew.
Masterchef as a new judge.
Chaotic Poe in the house.
And then obviously Andy's still there, right?
Yes. So, well, we'll get to it. So that means that Mel ended
She
up
gone.
leaving.
She got the axe.
I
She got
hope
the
she,
axe,
I hope
man.
she didn't get
She
the
got the
axe.
axe. We have
I
not-
love
I'm
Mel.
sorry. She got the axe.
Technically, she's still part of it in terms of hosting the spin-off that's coming out,
Dessert
Dessert
Masters.
Masters, and it was alluded to that there's going to be a second season of it next year.
If that would be interesting though,
I
because
thought they had the Dessert Masters already. No.
No,
This
it's
is the
coming
first
out in
one.
November.
You're thinking Snack Masters,
yeah,
Poe's
yeah.
old show on the opposite
so they did
channel.
Hose
Yeah,
on
they
your mind.
literally-
Asian chick swapperoonie.
But weren't we right?
Okay,
Right? You
okay.
have to have like an Asian. So
I don't
it would have
dis-
been amazing if there was double Asian.
I don't disagree. Okay, but let's talk about these. Okay, so what was our initial reaction? Because my initial reaction was who? Like I didn't know half
So,
of like any of
Yeah,
these
half
apart
of
from
them,
Poe.
2 of them are newbies to us.
Yeah.
But they're probably all very known in the culinary
Well,
game.
I did a
Yes.
Google search and like Jean-Claude Van Damme, who's a French guy.
Okay, so Jean-Christophe Novelli.
Why do all Frenchies need to have a Jean there? Jean.
I don't know. It's just it's
just
part of the culture. So
the culture.
French Michelin star chef who's his own restaurant, Italian restaurant Novelli is in Belfast.
So he doesn't have an Australian restaurant.
No.
Okay.
And he's appeared in Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
He had a show called Chef's Academy US and Cooking with the Stars.
He has some notoriety in the sense that, like, I checked the socials. I checked on YouTube, which is the first thing I check. And he looked like he had, like, he's not new to the entire scene. So cool, international, not an Australian. Yeah, okay, cool.
At least a chef.
Cool. He's a chef,
the
French.
chef angle, yeah.
Je m'appelle, you know, whatever. all good. But this chick, who's the chick? Like,
so Sophia Levin, she's a journalist and food presenter. She has a main website called Seasoned Traveler, and she's mainly worked on SBS Food. Funnily enough, she also appeared on the SBS show The Cook Up with Adam Liao.
Yep.
So,
Okay, so
there's a
the
degree.
threads.
There's a degree. And so on her website, she says she's apparently following in the footsteps of Nigella Lawson. So
Of
just
course.
Wait, does she cook?
no, I think just the curiosity with food. and
Oh,
whatnot.
okay, fair enough. Oh, the sensualization of the food and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah. I see.
Exactly. So it's in a way, it's like these three new additions are sort of emulating the previous judges that we know, because Poe is like the returning contestant, much like Andy.
Yes.
Sophia is the food critic. Journalist, like Mel. And then I guess Jean-Christophe is meant to be the chef stand-in for what was Jock.
Basically, yeah.
And I reckon, my theory is that Andy's just going to maybe do one more season, and then, I don't know,
I don't know why Andy
he could
would give that up.
transition to make it the main three. They'll become the next main three.
He did put a post up saying that it was like a tough decision to decide to decide to come back, but wanted to honor.
It would be Jock, yeah.
Wanted to honor Jock, and plus Andy's got like his own things
got
going
his-
on.
he's
So
got
it's
a lot
obviously he's got his business with Three Blue Ducks, and then not sponsored.
Could be.
But then he's also got his own beer line and stuff. So it's obviously, I guess, you know, you do MasterChef for how many years were they together? 3 years, something like that.
Almost 2020.
And it's just like, you know,
4 years.
lifting up the profile, and then, you know, probably to the same effect, because that's also the speculation as well, where rather than being axed, Mel was just thinking it's just time to diversify into other things, because it's a big commitment time block for like
It is,
half
but they
of
get
the
paid
year
well. Like
to
they
film.
get like good notoriety out of
Can
it.
you imagine, like, again, how much food you have to eat? Like,
Oh, cry me a river. Okay. So my initial reaction was like, I was definitely deflated when I saw Poe's name. That like,
why are you going to be hating on
I just honestly, she's just not the personality doesn't work for me. I don't know.
well, that's only you.
I think a lot of people would say the same. You trolled and looked at. I mean, look, that's
Sorry,
just my
what?
opinion. You trolled and looked at the comments as
I
well.
didn't troll. I looked
Troll
at the
through the comments. Okay.
troll.
Yeah. No.
Enunciate your
We're gonna call it troll. But
I can see it now. It's on the captions. It's troll.
Troll. So they've gone with the new guys. Most of the Australian public would know the two new chefs, which is cool. I mean, Jock was in
Critic
that.
and chef.
Yeah. So Jock was in that. Like when Mel came into, predominantly a lot of people didn't know her too.
Yeah,
so.
but you just said chefs, so I'm just correcting you. That's all.
Oh, here we go. I don't know. I really feel
The chemistry test would have been interesting to see, I think.
they would have
because
had to have done
They
that,
have
right?
to have done so many chemistry tests, because obviously Jamie was in the mix, well, allegedly in the mix. Again,
That we
Can't afford
reacted
Jamie.
to.
They would not have
Again,
had Jamie.
Again, I reckon, pew pew on my theory of like bringing the hype and the PR to be like, who's it going to be? Not that they needed to do that anyway. Come on, Channel 10. Like, I get it. We're in a struggling position at the moment. You don't need to overinflate the PR machine in order to get the hype. Just saying.
But they wouldn't have been able to afford Jamie.
They wouldn't
for
have
a
been able to
whole
afford
season.
Jamie for a whole season. He'll do his like guest jump ins and
Yep.
stuff. So there's that. I hope Shannon is still in the mix to be that mentor side, because I quite
Yes.
like Shannon.
It should have been Shannon. They
should
should
have
have
been
just brought
Shannon.
Shannon. Seamless
And
integration.
then you integrate like a new chef as well as like like a senior-ish chef for like the mentor role.
Sorry, I
right?
just connected the dots. You reckon that Andy will come in for do this season last and then transition out?
That's what I was
like
thinking.
a baton change.
That was my
Yeah.
theory.
It's like how this the second round of 3, how they started when they used the the returning contestants, because it's just trying to tie in.
Yeah.
But we agreed 4 people's a lot. Like how? Like can you imagine when they do those critiques?
The
logistics. Logistics, but
of more cooking more food.
Yeah, that's true.
More about the food. Imagine the video editing. If they simply talk 10 seconds each to give a critique, it really does extend things out. So I can that actually tracks. Like that tracks for me, but. I don't know. Like, obviously, we're used to what we're used to, but even when like Shannon comes in those challenges, those episodes are condensed episodes, right? They're usually like a chef's challenge versus a chef and stuff like that. Simply to have a 4th judge, like taste food and stuff like that, I'd be very intrigued because, like, 2 is a company, 3 is a crowd, 4 is I don't know.
It'll be 5.
Yeah,
it'll be 5
in those
people
episodes.
on the
table.
In those episodes,
table.
I'm almost wondering if they're not even going to bring they're going to use the Jean-Claude. They're going to use the French chef as
Put respect on the name, man. Come on.
Jean-Christophe. Christelle. Let's call him Christelle. But you know what? Like, yeah, I was not happy with Poe. Definitely not happy with Poe. They should have just brought back George, man.
No.
Bring back George.
No.
Look,
for
they're
nostalgia's
gone.
sake, we should have just brought someone back. George.
Matt Cravat.
Matt Cravat.
Should have brought Matt Cravat. Nah, but then no, I do like
Sounds
there's
like
a balance. I do like there's a balance of the how do I say that? It's like straight genders because there's obviously other genders. Just
Yes.
Yeah, boy girl, right?
And it will be a good mix of different, I guess, experience, perspective. So
I really
we'll see
would
how
have.
it goes.
I really would have loved like a new ex-contestant, like new to the TV scene completely.
Khan.
Nah, he's not new. Khan's everywhere. Khan's doing well, man.
Khan is doing well.
Khan's doing
Yeah.
well.
Good
So
on
I
you,
went to
Khan.
the AMX day.
Product
He's like an
placement.
ambassador.
He was there, yeah,
No, he's
yeah.
not there, but like he is like their chef. Like
Yeah.
Khan does well. Give it to Raj. Who's the other guy that like there's so many other people that they could just give a new shot at.
Nah, but you need to have a base foundation level
I think
of
they got-
media talent
And
like,
personality.
You need to be
Dude.
good in front of the camera.
I'm sorry, but it can't be personality because I don't.
Here we go. No, no, no.
Definitely not the Tonka guy.
Oh,
Oh
my
yeah,
god.
Adam De Silva. That I had to search up.
Got research going on overtime. Far out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, do we think like they need to rehash MasterChef? Because I think it's dying. I think it's still the cash cow. It's the biggest cash cow for Channel 10, right? So they'll beat that horse till it bleeds dry. Integrations, especially for like FMCG, it works,
Coles.
right? It works.
Yeah. Yep.
From
Not
a
sponsored.
monetary perspective, I'm sure it works. But we're all MasterChef fans, right? I
Yes.
don't even remember what year I started watching it, and I love when I first got into MasterChef. I was so into it that I would religiously start watching, because you can watch old seasons, right?
Yeah.
The Australian MasterChef, Australian reality TV as a whole, their production value is pretty good, right? The Survivor,
Yes.
all of it is done well.
Yeah.
And I know like in like a lot of countries watch Australian, it's a standard, right?
Yeah,
it's
I
seen
think
as
so.
the standard, right? And I'm pretty sure they sell it to overseas, right?
Yeah, by syndication. Yep.
But as you know, loyalists and people that like watch it, I'm not gonna lie. You tell me, the last 3 seasons I've been speed watching it. Like generally, like watching it with the phone, like it's not that captivating anymore. They haven't really changed it, and like the people are a big component of it.
Yes.
But we do agree that like it's how long is MasterChef? 5 months? It's long, right?
It's a long
Yeah,
slog.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
needs to. It's
Easter to like mid-year, right?
Well, that's the run.
But the
Wait,
filming would have
The filming
started
would
now.
The
right?
filming is starting now, so that means it takes them to like what 8 months, because if they finish up in August, by the time
They
it
have to
goes
do
up.
the finale.
yeah.
and,
but if you were
Oh yeah, even past that. Yeah.
if you were given the gig to refresh MasterChef, how would you do it? Like, what would be the key takeaways? If you were given the gig, hey, Channel 10's coming to you guys, we need to refresh MasterChef. We feel like our audience scores are saying it's just a bit of a snooze fest. What do we do?
See, because there's been like 2 seasons where they've had to bank on getting returning contestants, right?
Yeah.
There's been 2, and like as Kev was saying, I think especially they have to do more of a quality check in terms of the contestants that they pick up.
Yeah.
Because some of them I haven't been able to really invest or attach to.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Like
That
the
is
last-
hard though, because they need to cook too, right?
Yeah, because the last
It's not
season,
reality TV. They need to be able to cook.
the last season I felt very invested in was the one with like Justin and Pete and all that.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
And
Why
Kishwa.
Justin and Pete?
Because I think they were just more easy to
This is a
invest
chemistry,
in.
right?
Yeah.
They were relatable.
Yes.
So yeah, I agree. Because Justin was also like, what do you call it? Underdog story, because there was no way he was meant to win.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah,
came
yeah.
up from nowhere, right?
Yeah.
And he was also bro. Like there was a different element in it. I'm sorry. Like it is what it is.
Representation matters.
Representation matters. They should have given it to Justin, seriously. But
Nah, he's still young blood, you know?
so what?
Yeah.
They need more new young talent.
But
They
like,
wouldn't give it to Sashi, like, and I love the guy, but like,
I love the guy
they
too.
wouldn't, like, I'm realistic about it. Like, I know that the thing, they need to condense it. It's way too long, and in a movie, there's just too much filler. There is legitimately too much filler. How many days a week it is? Like 4 days a week.
it
At
goes
the beginning, it starts at like 4.
Pretty
Yeah.
extensive.
Almost 5,
Needs to be,
yeah, and
yeah.
then-
yeah,
it's
almost
long.
yeah, it's 5 and then they go shorter.
They really need to condense it. The bits that the seasons that I vividly remember about MasterChef is when they had those. Remember the Japan season where they were in Japan and stuff like that?
Yeah.
They don't have the budget for that
I
anymore.
know, but like if you condense it, like I think that's one element of it.
That would be a good angle. Food
Well,
and
if
travel.
you connect,
getaway.
if you go to look here. If you go to the South American tourism board, I'm sure that there's smart people that can do this, right?
Yeah,
they
yeah,
can
yeah.
connect those dots there. They need to condense it a bit more. The other thing for me about MasterChef, and
yeah, but it's the cash cow. You
I
have
agree.
to,
I agree. I don't disagree.
because as part of the
there's
major.
different ways of making cash. But yeah, I agree.
You're gonna let me talk first because you just
because I haven't finished
you
my
put,
thought
no,
here.
no, you put a question out. I haven't even put forth my idea of what is it that should be that they should enhance
Floor is yours, go
somehow.
on.
It 100%. I believe it should be a diversity play. That's what I think. It's just enhancing the mix a bit more, and they have done so in the seasons. But I think there has to be a bit more rigorous play of selecting the contestants.
Yes.
I do agree with the travel idea. But you have to understand the complexity of like, these are the parameters that they got to work with, right? So probably what they need to do is do some real solid research of their core audience base and then go from there. Like, that's what I think.
Even like limit it down to maybe 18 or like 16 contestants.
And then they stay a bit longer.
What do they start with?
and stuff.
20?
20.
Yeah,
20
it's
or
too much.
20 or
24.
24.
They
24.
basically extend it
Yeah.
longer than it should
But
be.
you know the trap of all of these shows as well, because there's so many franchises that have just been going, and all of the different channels are struggling to figure out what's their new franchise to build off on. Because even like the block is getting old, MKR has fallen off a cliff, all that stuff, right? The problem that they had to do it, but they can't do it anymore, is bringing back old contestants. That's what I
Yeah.
really liked.
Well, but the old contestants to me is a band-aid fix. It
Exactly. No,
works.
that's
It definitely works. But
100%,
it's a
because
band-aid
they got to
fix.
boost
Yeah,
the
they gotta
ratings.
boost
They got
it.
to invest in it. But once you've done that,
That's it.
people can't see past that because it's
Yeah.
like,
Well, SAS, right? Remember how they had the normal peeps
Yeah.
and then they had celebrities, and when they went back to the
I
normal
don't even
peeps,
remember having them the
that's
normal.
what I
peeps.
mean. That's what I mean. Because I think it started off with celebrities. I'm not too sure. Then they had normal peeps, and then the drop was so bad that now
Yeah.
it's just has to be celebrities, right?
Yeah.
Because no, like even the current like season of SAS. I mean, a lot of these stories are snooze fest for me, legitimately. But can you imagine if they were from the average Joe Blow? Like, they'd be ultra snooze fest, right? Like the only reason we still like tune in is because they're celebrities, regardless of the grade. Pulling back to MasterChef. The other thing for me to MasterChef is, I think, and I love MasterChef, and I love all the fancy equipment in it. The
we go.
food that they cook is out of touch of
Hibachi grill.
regular. It's out of touch of the regular Australian people. It legitimately is, and they've got to find a way to integrate
it back.
with the audience.
Yeah.
Hey man, I don't have 50 equipment to make shit like that. It's just not feasible, right? The
I'm a one-pan guy.
yeah, but you know what? They can do that by making the tasks, limiting it down. Hey, this is a toasty challenge.
MacGyver it.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
this is a pasta challenge.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Hey, this is a $25 challenge. There are ways to do it, but we're obsessed with everything has to be Michelin. Dude, you're right. I'd be really intrigued to see the average Joe Blow that like their demographics, but I can tell you it's the stay-at-home mom. There are mums, they are like you and I, and like there are individuals that don't have the budget. Half of the reason these things taste so amazing in MasterChef is because they're able to cook lobster every day if they want. You know what I mean? You're
It's going to be like MSG for you.
Oh God, they should have got Uncle Rod.
They should have gotten Uncle Rod.
Honestly, I don't think he'd be that expensive. Like not like Jamie Oliver level of expensive. He would have blasted through their like Asian like rankings.
Yeah, that's what they
missed
should
the
have
play.
done. They should have gotten this is the other thing, the convergence between traditional media and new media and getting those personalities because then you follow them that way.
The irony is if they want to blast and integrate it, they need to do it through like a YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Like there are different ways to do it. And I think what's happening is like old media is stuck. Like and that's why I don't like the Poe thing, but because I know that they had her on speed dial. Like and that's what it was easy because she's been in the previous she's in the system.
Yeah.
Right. So it's hard for new talent to get into the system.
We'll see how it goes.
Exactly. When the new season rolls in. And then also, we're obviously going to check out Dessert Masters in November.
Now it'll be good. All your mates are there. Zumba,
No.
Reynolds
there. Hey, Reynolds. Jess is going to be there.
All the Asians. So all those that are really good at cooking.
Profiteroles, is that what you were going to say?
I was going to say something else, but I shut my trap. Don't get
It's about time,
baby.
Alrighty. Alrighty, let's move on.
Yep.
Have you guys considered how it would be working a 4-day week? Because that's what Medibank is going to be trialing soon.
Medibank with the goods. That's pretty big. Medibank's pretty big.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's an interesting play as well. I guess in line with their line of business and their philosophy. Sorry, I can't remember what their tagline is at the moment, but they're all obviously pushing the whole. I think it's life's better.
Tagline should be data security. Was that Medibank?
Oh,
Yeah. Medibank and AHM. Yeah, not sponsored.
Yeah.
It's
This is big.
well, I mean, post-COVID, the wake up from the machine and the rat race, the guinea pig wheel, all your analogies insert.
Yes.
There begs the question, right? Where is the work-life balance, but also the efficiency of it all? So it'd be interesting to see how a 4-day week goes, because I think like many people be like, there's not enough time in the week to do X, Y, and Z. So don't know.
Yeah.
Go.
Sorry. And also, I guess it just raises the question where it's like, for so long, we've known it as just 9 to 5, 5 days a week, but
Or like 7 to 7. Let's be real.
oh yeah, but it's like, what if we really shake that up, because it was us humans that implemented it? We can change it, change the wheel, so to speak.
Yeah, who thought of it as like Monday to Friday are weekdays?
Probably some CEOs. Capitalism.
And then you get 2 days off to do everything else.
Yeah, why is the weekend only 2 days? It could be 3 days. Who knows?
Well, that's the premise of a 4-day week, right?
Yeah.
So the premise of a 4-day week is employees work 4 days instead of 5, but they get paid for the entirety of 5. So their salary will remain the same. So the view is by having more time to rest in that, it will actually improve the productivity of the individuals working in the company. And there have been like obviously empirical tests. It's been done across a couple of, I've read the book, I can't remember, but like there's a lot of data at least supporting that from a burnout and mental capacity perspective, as well as efficiency, productivity rather. So this has definitely got to work. But I think the interesting thing is Medibank is
It's
huge.
live better. Sorry, it just hit me. It's live better.
Yeah. Did you play the ad in your head?
Yeah. You can watch the video, just the thought process. Be like,
I
that's
saw
it.
your epiphany moment. I saw your face.
But that's right. It's the. How do I say this? What would be interesting out of all of this, I think, is how does that change the balance of the productivity and getting stuff done, the prioritization of getting stuff done,
Work
but it's
output
also
and all
keeping those keeping those honest that may tend to burn out certain employees because of just the slathering of work and stuff. Does it help restructure kind of, if this is our roadmap for the year that we need to achieve X, Y, and Z activities, like this is how we're going to plan it better, because if you've got like all of your workforce out, you gotta change. Something's got to give, right?
Yeah.
Just to put it out there, they're trialing it. Obviously, like,
Yeah.
But it is still a trial. And who's saying this? It's a privilege, not an entitlement, which is very true.
Which is true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Because
while the trial does not have a definitive start date, various teams. This is going to be interesting because I think a lot of companies are going to be paying a close eye on this, because Medibank, firstly, massive brand, but secondly, they have a lot of cross-functional teams. This is going to be a case study. Wonder who
with live products out, with like clauses and key details that would need to be updated fresh. Touch points with customers. So there's a whole kind of ops chain there. Trying to think what else is like. There are a lot of
perceived benefits,
right?
right? But it's challenging, man. It's challenging here. Just one thing this is like, if you're in the market for a job and this appeals to you, this is a big thing, right? Like it's a big
work-life balance.
Yeah, it's like
100%.
You're getting paid 100. Like I'm seeing the Medibank jobs at the moment. They definitely haven't put it in yet as like an
update
as a potential reason there, but legitimate.
If they're working 4 days now, then they can't update all of the.
You gotta wait till next week to.
You got to get or you got to get AI to update all of your listings on which is also true actually.
True.
Actually, AI and automating a whole lot of things. So there's that as well.
So look, we work in like white collar. You work in consulting. I'm in partnerships. 4-day week. You reckon it will work?
Practicalities. Okay. So I love the theory of it. I love the benefits of it. Again, it is a privilege, and you have to treat it as a privilege in order to not take the piss out of it and, get your stuff done. Right. I am hesitant to say that it would be successful. I think that there would have to be a workaround as to transition, like with everything, like with MasterChef, transitioning it from a look at me talking my language now, from current state to future state design. The way that I see it possibly working is that I think that if you take the whole entire workforce out on, say, like a designated, like if we take at the base level 4-day week. So that means what? A Monday or a Friday is off, right?
Yeah.
That's not.
It'd have to be Friday.
That's not. But that's not feasible. What I think it would be is that all employees can either choose
a Friday or the Monday,
or even a Wednesday. It could be like, or whatever day
Picking
it is.
the extra day.
It's about getting your coverage so that you still have a business continuity plan. Here we go, but. So business doesn't end. It's just about shifting up your resources accordingly. So I've also heard the notion of a 9-day fortnight. So, you'd have like team A of all your resources that take the day off on week 1. And then you got team B that takes their day off on the week 2. So then you're still maintaining the efficiencies of getting stuff done, but then also managing, I guess, the cost of running the business.
Yeah.
And you're also giving that flexibility for your employees, but the lights are still on.
Yeah.
Because Medibank is one example, but the amount of projects that are ongoing, the amount of the need to be agile in so many different ways, because things change constantly, right? If you're like back in my past life in advertising, so much stuff went down on a Friday.
In advertising and media, I don't think you can do it.
That's why I think
you can't take Monday. You can't take Friday.
Well, that's why it has to be.
And I don't even think you could take them.
That's why it has to be this hybrid model of standing up like even during Christmas, I would remember that, we'd have set amount of people on call just in case, right? I think that's how we'll roll out. I think that's the only way it can roll out, as we're all literally trying to figure out how is this going to work best? How is it sustainable? And how do you put it in a way that you still establish that line of trust, I think, with your employees, right? Because I mean, let's be real, at the best of times, people are still dubious about work from home, right? I mean, it's a way of, it's a way of now, but it's just about, like with everything, accountabilities. As long as you get your stuff done, then you can have that privilege. If things fall on the wayside, then you can't, and we covered this in another episode, I think, earlier this year, where it's this idea of coming back into work from home and people don't want to, and it's a contractual obligation and all that stuff. It just gets to this weird murky point where it's just fundamentally do your job and then you'll be able to get that privilege.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, Medibank is going to be up against it. Like, again, a lot of eyes are going to be here, and there's a reason they say it's a trial, but any trial needs to be measured upon criterions. And the criteria I think that's always difficult is how do you objectively measure productivity? Because it's very different for different like verticals or sub business units. And I think that's, I would find it very hard from an employment, if you have an employment survey, like mental health and burnout, like there's no way it goes worse by having a day, like one less day of working.
Oh,
right?
100%.
Like, so that'll be ticked straight off the bat, right?
But the input to that is
it could make no, I do get it, but like on the balance, that bit will be ticked. But if you're a CEO, it has to be more productive, and if it's not productive, this doesn't work no matter how happy your employees are, especially in a for-profit business, which is Medibank and a lot of these businesses, right? But the point is, the other thing is, in isolation. So yeah, I was going to say, like companies work with other companies, right?
Yep.
If that makes sense. So if one company is taking a day off and they're not synergizing with other sort of companies on the time off, I fail to see how it works. You know what I mean?
Well,
because the efficiency component in a lot of jobs are not only dependent upon internal interactions, but external interactions, right? If you're a real estate person and you work 4 days, you are losing 1 day in terms of opportunity cost. Can you quantify it? No, you don't. It's just impossible to quantify it. But for a fact, you are losing the opportunity to pick up a phone. You are losing the opportunity to knock on the door, and you are losing the opportunity to make, for like a partnerships person, as an example. Same thing for an implementations person, right? So using it one more day. And what happens if things, like the point of being able to have different like teams and people taking that day off is valid, but when I view that as square peg round hole. So now you're trying to make your whole workforce meld around a new variable, which is the 4-day working week, which it would usually don't do that unless the benefits outweigh all, because that's that's institutional change, which is hard to do in the best of times.
Well, that's the whole point of it all, right? It's all about how do you manage the organization, the way of working, the culture to enable that. You can't have a good thing for free.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing. And ultimately, this is where I get really passionate, to be honest. It's about how do you enable your people in order to enable themselves, but then to drive, ultimately, it's all a business. They have to drive to outcomes, right? So it still remains the same. The top down need to be able to enforce is the wrong word, need to be able to create that framework to enable your people. And then I think it also goes to this piece of, rather than being reactive, because the example you gave about, you talk about businesses talking to different businesses. Let's be real. It's even functions within functions inside a business, right?
Yep.
Like, this goes from this whole mindset, or, minimum, how do I say this? Like, just a minimum effort of covering your own needs and being reactive to new stuff that's happening, to anticipating things, again, being agile. Sorry to chuck all of these work words in, but here we are. We're talking about work. It's just the mindset change in order to get that further balance and further opportunity to be able to, like, we look at our parents, for example. Like, the standard work weeks that they had, right?
Yeah.
And everything will continuously improve through each generation, right?
Yes.
We're enabled more by technology more than ever. That will now start being able to do work that, you know, a team of 5 would have to take a week to do. We'll have AI to be able to, you know, generate data and whatnot to then synthesize it down to like half the time.
Yep.
So there's more. It's all about, rather than focusing on I think it's not going to work, whatever. Just being open to the fact that there is a new way coming through in everything.
Exactly. And
Kat, as someone that's potentially like entering the workforce, like for a job, would like if you see in a job ad 2 jobs that you really like, would like a 4-day work week be really appealing to you? Like, would that be a swinger?
I do think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's like I think that's what we've been discussing. Like on paper, and idealistically, it sounds great. It sounds like oh wow, that would really be enticing to anyone who'd look. But again, it's like there's obviously the like just the little logistics, probably the fine print that would have to come with it. But again, like this whole thing, it's a trial. So for a reason, they're gonna find out if it's gonna work. See how it goes. I mean, good on them, especially for a big company like Medibank.
For being progressive. The reason people don't do it is it's expensive, like really expensive to even trial something like that. Because if you trial 50-50, it works, it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
So if it doesn't work, you've put all that. But like, good on Medibank for trying it. And I think a lot of corporate eyes are going to be on it.
Live better. I see you. Not sponsored, but I see you.
Might as well be with the amount you're flogging it.
I can just recognize some good kind of, you know, marketing at play, but ethos. Again, it goes to the culture like that you're trying to establish anyway.
Security better.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes for those people.
Yes.
Alrighty, moving on. Let's go ahead into sports. Actually, sports. So we had just this morning there was the Rugby World Cup final.
We're in Australia, just for context.
Yes.
So yeah, 6 a.m. Yeah. The world
on Sunday, the 29th of October.
We're not talking about the cricket final.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, South Africa and New Zealand, it's a rivalry as old as time. But I think, like, zooming back, this whole Rugby World Cup has been a pretty big success, in my view. Like, there's so many... When you look at the final is a culmination of it, obviously, and that's predominantly what people are going to talk about. But there was so many story arcs and narratives in this particular World Cup that made it memorable. Obviously, you know, Fiji's emergence as like a rugby powerhouse, being able to beat Australia's, you know, downfall.
In a kind of a rebuild.
Yeah,
phase.
to rebuild. Like these are all storylines that make it entertaining. Portugal, they had like a victory against Fiji. That I think that's their first win. Georgia, some of these smaller nations really stood up. I think Japan had a really good World Cup as well. So what we are now seeing is the game just become more competitive. And I think for these emerging sort of nations that have done their time, that have done their toil, it's just great to see it, right? Obviously, New Zealand, they had a shock defeat of Ireland, which just confuses me to say because I'm not really into rugby union, because for you and I, New Zealand, it's just, they're the powerhouse, right? Like, even though we don't follow rugby, and
Yeah.
New
We
Zealand has fallen off.
The four being Australia, New
Let us
Zealand,
slow.
England, and
South Africa.
Right?
South Africa,
Yeah.
South Africa, simply to get here, had 2 1-point victories against France and England, right? So they worked for it, right? And in fitting fashion, South Africa defeats New Zealand in the World Cup finale, 12-11.
Whoa.
That's like,
close.
it's perfect. So 3 games in a row, they've had a victory by 1 point. So they've grinded their way through and they've won it. Look, they did it all through penalties, but rugby union is a more strategic sort of game. And I think in the 27th minute this game had 3 yellow cards and 1 red card. So look, there was passion in it.
It's basically soccer or other football.
There was passion in it. There was intensity in it. But Sam Cane, the New Zealand captain, can you imagine being the captain? He got a yellow card in the 27th minute, and then it got upgraded to a red card.
What did he do?
High tackle, like a high tackle, effectively. It's really interesting.
Even Trott's like,
Yeah,
what did he do?
How dare you, Sam?
Whoa.
It's interesting. Okay, so there were 2 yellow cards as well. Like, watching the whole officiating, like, I will say, I mean, it is rugby. There are going to be contacts and collisions. And we're seeing this in NRL as well. But they really had a very strict whistle in there. Like
That's good.
Which is good. The safety of the players is important. But a red card in a final in the first half, you're against it. You're actually like against it, right?
Yeah.
And New Zealand, the narrative of this game was South Africa, clinical, structured, strong in their set plays. They were stealing lineouts left, right, and center. But they weren't able to score. So New Zealand, with the flamboyance that New Zealand rugby has historically had, always seemed to threaten. And they scored the single try. They always seem to threaten South Africa. But when you're 1 man down, that's massive handicap. And unfortunately for them, they had 2 opportunities of one a penalty and one a kick conversion after try that I think they're going to obviously rue in hindsight. But, bravo to South Africa. They definitely won it. They did it their way. They really earned this World Cup. And I think 4 times South Africa has won the World Cup. So
What, consecutively?
not consecutively, I believe. But it puts them up as a rugby powerhouse, obviously. Yeah. But very impressive. But I think for me... I'll just rue the fact that Fiji could have somehow been. But anyway, like, it was a good World Cup. They did an interesting narrative about this World Cup is they really did stretch the games. So I think it's been on for like 1.5 months. So what happened is at a certain level, they only played 1 game a week when they really could have done like multiple games. So it went from...
Because it was in France, right?
Yeah.
Are they in like different regions? Like, is it like
they are in different regions?
Isn't it in France? Like, everyone has to catch trains.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone has to catch trains now. If it's like a domestic time, right? So maybe that's what it is.
They really stretched French, man. You gotta love the French. Wherever the representation of the French is big. So there was a Star Watch in the final. So there was Novak Djokovic sitting with Rita Ora, your boy Tatiti. What is it? Tatui? Sorry.
Taika Waititi.
Sorry, I couldn't see him there. I'm just saying. You watch out. That
Novak. Well, because he's Kiwi. So, and I also...
He should be. He's definitely there, right?
Yeah. Well, if
why is Rita there and he's not there?
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah.
And then they did Cam Watch or Roger Federer doing his presidential handshake. He would make a good president, just from the aesthetics. Trudeau, like, they kind of look the same hair and all that stuff like that.
Okay. I mean, yeah, he's retired.
Yeah, he's looking for other opportunities. Yeah.
Federer's LinkedIn, open to opportunities, open to new adventures.
Really, that means open to sponsorships. Let's be real.
Open to new sponsorships. No, it was good. Kind of really enjoyed it. We were going to talk about Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou, but these bastards are still fighting.
Oh, it's still going on at the moment.
Still going on. They just know how to extend it.
Well, as in like the other fights beforehand, or
so what they do, like, we can talk with not
ever so briefly.
Ever so briefly, is this is in Saudi Arabia, so the time zone is a bit warped.
Yeah,
but you've seen like a Tyson Fury fight, like there's so much money in it, and so like in Middle East, there's a lot of like money for that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
but they extend these. Pre-entertainment, and they had
got to get the actors and they have make it rain.
And it's funny. I was looking at the comments. They have little baby, and they're like, the Saudis don't know who the hell this guy is. So this going like,
I don't know who little baby is. I thought you were talking about a little baby.
Same.
Whose baby? Like, are they safe or what's going on?
With all this nonsense,
why are they in a fight?
Is it Hezbollah? I don't know. Like. You're trying to think if Hezbollah was there?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
No buffering.
He probably was.
Live better.
Anyway, that's my sports rant.
All right. Very good.
Congratulations, South Africa. Good game.
Very good. Sports.
All
right, let's wrap it up for this episode with a final topic. Let's dive into entertainment. Especially because 2 episodes ago we were talking about Star Wars TV. Now let's talk about Marvel TV, guys.
How are they going to bring it back?
Okay, so for starters at the moment, last week there was a new development, a big report that came out that Marvel TV is currently going through a creative overhaul. Mm-hmm. So this first came through with the Daredevil show. So Daredevil Born Again. This is one of the shows that are going to be coming up on the slate. And so it was a recent announcement that they quietly let go of all of their TV writers and directors and the showrunner because they had filmed 4 episodes before the strike occurred.
Yeah.
And apparently upon examination with the episodes, Feige said it wasn't going to do because allegedly Daredevil himself, the character, like Matt Murdock's hero persona, didn't come in until episode 4.
Wow.
The rest of it, like, I know that they're focusing on the lawyer aspect of his life, but I think that was something that that Feige was a bit like, oh, that feels a bit
odd. One moment quickly. Kevin Feige. No.
Feige got a power trip,
But also
bro.
interesting because can I ask?
Yes.
Did any of the Netflix staff that previously worked on Daredevil, when it was in its Netflix era, have they come across, or is it completely new people?
No, it's completely revamped because this taps into a sneaky tactic that Disney has, where for all of their shows, if it reaches 3 seasons, they name it something completely new, because if you make a 4th season of something, that's a syndication thing of which will require pay rises for people.
Wow.
And so technically...
What is an example of this? Like
all the Disney shows, like the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and then they named it Sweet Life of Zack and Cody Overboard or something, like Hotel.
Really? So they just don't want to pay.
Because of the technicality that it's a different name,
You're right.
that means that they restart the cycle again and they don't have to do a pay rise
That's
for their writers
crazy.
and their staff.
That's
Mickey
That's
Mouse,
tricky,
you
bro.
so sneaky.
And so I think
Tricky mouse model.
that tactic was playing into with Daredevil, because Daredevil finished on Netflix with 3 seasons, and so everyone was wondering, is this going to continue? Is this technically a 4th season or not?
Yeah.
And so there was a new development yesterday, actually, that they've hired a new showrunner, Dario Scardapane, who is from Netflix Punisher. So
So it's still within the realm.
So everyone is excited now. I think that's more promise that hopefully it will honor the original, the initial
feel
vibe of the show.
Yeah.
Which, because like Daredevil was probably the
Very
best show
good.
out of the Netflix
Very good.
Marvel universe.
Yeah.
And then new directors Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. They've jumped on board, and they recently directed episodes from Loki season 2.
Oh, okay.
So-
we're in good hands then.
So I think that's very promising.
We're in
So,
very good hands.
we'll shortly talk about Loki,
Yeah.
but just some other points I wanted to touch on. So part of the report as well is that MCU TV now, they want to go down more of the route of traditional season format as opposed to limited series,
Yeah, makes sense.
which
What's the difference? Like
Limited series
is
is
just the 6 episodes and then that's it for
so it's
for
the
that
length. Traditional seasons are longer, right? 20, something like that.
Yes, because for example, Daredevil Born Again is
Yeah.
going to be 18 episodes,
Okay.
which is
but
almost
like
triple.
like half an hour? Like no, it would have to be like 45-ish minutes, right?
Yes,
More
that's
content.
so far what's been. I think that's where it's going to be headed to.
Because the business model of it all, right? Like Disney have established themselves as the streaming platform. You have to feed that content constantly.
Yes.
So that's probably the reason why that they're now venturing into this new business, this new model with all of the different shows. And let's be real, in the last, like, I guess with the slump that Marvel's like kind of experienced
Especially this year.
post Endgame,
Yeah.
and going into the new phase, both in film and in TV, there's been like standouts,
Oh yeah,
but far and few in between.
it's highs and lows because I know that for this phase especially, they're trying to experiment, obviously, to branch out.
Branch out.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Branch out, bringing in new creatives to give in their input. But again, like that's why there's been so much mixed reception to this season, to this phase. So people will have like, wow, this was amazing, or they'll feel strongly, wow, this was super weak. And so to each their own.
Yeah.
Essentially.
They have to try. They have to try. They
Yes,
have to try.
they have to try.
Because you're rebuilding again, right? It's You don't have the clout of the previous talent. There's new stories that are to
new
be
people now to invest
explored and whatnot. And what I really loved about, I guess, the recent offerings is there is that you feel that wider diversity play and exploring different stories and whatnot.
Yes.
However, the audience can be a fickle bunch.
Especially those that have stayed with Marvel for so long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that thing of where, like, the thing that you've been well known for can haunt you because that's what people come to expect, right?
Oh yeah, the formula.
Yeah.
Has been, now it's starting to be like cursing or a blessing.
Yeah. 100%. So it's like, again, it's now that time to kind of reinvent to a degree or learn from the ones that have done really, really well.
Yes, which seems to be where they're going for Daredevil Born Again in terms of employing these new people and what they've previously worked on.
You know, I've just realized as well, Daredevil is going through its like Spider-Man era. Where it's like there's just multiple incarnations of it.
But it's
like,
the same guy.
But it's the same guy. Like,
well, at least for this one, I'm glad they brought back Charlie Cox.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. Like, he's great.
Yes.
So...
One of my faves.
So hopefully... Yeah, it must be interesting as well because if I was the Feige man... And with my hat on and everything...
Exactly, yeah.
Like, it's interesting to see... You know, they've put the money in and they review, because they've got like, okay, now I'm talking to TV chat, right? They've got dailies, right? So they see what's being produced and created, etc., right? And then they stitch things up. 4 episodes in, you're telling me they're like, nah, I'm going to cut it. Nah.
Yeah, like they had the whole strike to really like mull it over.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, nah. Which... I like is unfortunate for those that were fired.
Yeah.
Like that is a bit of a kick in the gut to them.
Yeah.
And I think on top of that particular move that they do, I think that's why some of Marvel TV has suffered is because they've gone through these motions of they will hire this person, but then you'll see a few months later that they left due to creative differences, so to speak. And then they bring in someone else. And so it's about trying to make it cohesive, but then if you keep adding all these different different new creative voices, then sometimes the material starts to go into a weird way. Which is why all this change comes on the heels of Secret Invasion, which has been declared the worst rated Marvel TV
Wasn't that
show.
bad? Well, we haven't finished it, but it was pretty snory.
And as well, there was a particular comment from this report that said the whole fix it and post attitude makes it feel like a director doesn't matter sometimes.
Yes.
The fact that, of course, like, yes, VFX is a big part of a lot of these Marvel shows, but you still have to, there has to be an integrity to what you're creating on the day to still make it into the cut and for it to matter for the actors or the directors.
100%. Because when I think about, I guess, the directors that have come through in Marvel, so obviously we had Joss Whedon who kicked it off and, you know, kudos to him and whatnot, but then that kind of went away. And then the only other, like, real directors, the main directors, right, that have just come through the whole time is what? Russo brothers.
Yeah.
Obviously.
They capped it off. They capped off the Endgame phase.
Yeah. We got Taika.
Yes.
That, like, I mean, love him or not, in the sense that, like, with how the second and third one went.
Yes.
You know, because the first, no, sorry, he didn't do the first
third
one.
And fourth.
Sorry, third and fourth, sorry.
Talking about Thor, right?
But I mean, Ragnarok was still great. Yeah.
Yeah, Ragnarok was, and then obviously gone to the competitor side, but James Gunn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With, I guess, again, it's the tone, the feel. What's going to get people going? How do you make? We're now at the space with superhero movies where it's like superhero movies are there the whole time, right? They're everywhere. How do you make it cut through, and not just purely on the brand in itself with the two houses, right? Because for crying out loud, now there's going to be gamer movies, and obviously I don't want to go off tangent, but you know, there's there's
the new IP that they can just start going into, but
Don't do it, Sean.
/ old toys.
Yes, but in a lot of these cases, like the examples that you've listed is that certain showrunners or directors become synonymous with this certain hero or certain IP because their style has just really has become successful. And so that's why it's different from Marvel TV, because it's different directors each episode, maybe different writers each episode, and again, trying to make it cohesive as a whole product when people watch the episode. Which brings us on to, just briefly, we'll talk about Loki.
The team on Loki.
Loki season 2. We just watched episode 4 last night.
Very good.
And I think Loki is probably one of the strongest shows in the whole slate.
100%.
Especially it's vouching for that seasonal approach instead of just limited series, even though it's only 6 episodes per season.
But they pack in some good content.
But yeah, because the way that season 1 ended was obviously to set up season 2.
Yeah.
And season 2 now we're rolling through the punches in terms of the effects.
The greater story as well, right? It was where did Kang come in? Kang came through Ant-Man, but Loki set up.
He was set up in.
But Loki set it
Loki,
up, right?
Yeah. So
that's where that's like like get back to that, Marvel. Disney.
The interconnecting.
Get back to that. Just figure out the good ways to tie things.
The connections.
Don't go on a 4-day week. Like, you know, like.
Oh, they can't
You're
afford
really going to pick your 4-day week.
They cannot afford to, especially the VFX.
Because, you know, creativity.
Wait, I want to go back. I want to go back to
one.
the point that you said about fix it in post. Like, that's a pretty big statement. You're saying that, like, I know that they've relied on, like, that FX.
Gotta have a plan.
Train.
That's what we're basically saying.
Are we just saying the stories are weak to begin with, right?
Some of them, yes.
And it's also because
relying on
if it becomes too predictable, which is interesting as well. Sorry, if we're going back to writer strike and whatnot, you have to have a good roster of writers and the time. I think that's the problem with the train of it all, right?
Yes.
Because you've got to there's a timeline where it's like you're trying to. I'd love to see how it all works, where they're trying to map out the different phases, right? And how they're going to connect. And then also, do they have the IP and all of that stuff, right? Because the last phase, this current phase in a film point of view, they've had to reshuffle. Obviously, COVID threw things in the mix as well.
Yeah, they reshuffled a lot because of COVID, yeah.
And it's just the implications then of like, how do you execute on that vision based on all of these changes, right?
Especially because they've pushed back some of these ones because of the strike. Now, how does that affect the flow of like stories?
Because they still got to have what? They still got to have how many movies, how many TV shows within a year? Like,
well, apparently they're starting to space it out more. Hit, right? They're starting to space it out more to provide space for people to enjoy one thing. Yeah, because. Especially last year, I would say that it was starting to get like, there's a bit too much going on.
Yeah. Like I haven't seen out of the last 5 shows.
No, like it's more than that.
Well, like from a Marvel point of view.
Yes. Because you watched the first year of shows. You watched WandaVision.
Yeah. All that was beautiful.
Soldier, Loki.
Yeah.
What If?
Yeah, and then probably
Hawkeye.
Post that, except for Moon Knight.
You did, yeah. You haven't seen much of Miss
I
Marvel.
I haven't seen like this. There is no. Don't get me wrong, internet. All right, I love the diversity and I love all of that, but it's just, I think as an audience member, the barrage of content, right? Yes. It's just the barrage of content that's going on. It's just too much. But please, let's go back to Loki because, what a cliffhanger.
It's bigger than the season 1 episode 4 cliffhanger, because episode 4 is always the best. Like shit just blows off. Like
shit just blows off.
Literally in this episode. Spoilers if you haven't watched. Should have put that ahead. But otherwise, like this show, like this season especially, has really followed its voice in terms of like the production. Yeah. The directing style.
So good.
A lot of the cinematography is great.
The cast is killing it.
The cast, like we were discussing, like, I know, scandal aside, but Jonathan Majors, he's bloody great. He's as so good. All the Kang variants.
He's so good.
Like, I get
and it just
why
makes
he
me
was picked.
Like
it's unfortunate if he's possibly throwing it away.
Get some help, mate. Get some help. Repent. And like, because he is an amazing talent.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing talent.
Yes.
But bro, get your shit together.
Because like he really matches the energy of like the rest of the cast. Because for example, I mean Hiddleston has been a cornerstone as Loki itself for I think he's the one of the longest running.
Like genuinely. If you apply the thought of like Hollywood in like Marvel, and like the actors, like tier of Hollywood, like that was his breakout role. For crying out loud,
the first Thor movie, and he was the first villain in Avengers,
and it was just like just charisma, the Riz, just oozing.
He still looks great. The black hair,
it works for him. The green, No, the tight shirts. The tight shirts.
The tight shirts and the
we're done, Charles.
The thing.
The thing.
What's it called? But you know what I mean.
What
the suspenders?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the suspenders type thing because like they hold.
Like a holster type of.
Yeah. It's like it's the new upgraded look after the green and gold.
100%.
But otherwise, like we're tuning in for what the final 2 episodes will be, because I believe this is the last show for the year because they've had to push Echo to next year.
What's Echo?
Echo was introduced in Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah. The
Native American. She's deaf.
God.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
She's deaf, and also she's connected to.
Yeah.
She's gonna be connected to Daredevil as well.
Daredevil
and
because they're in the same city.
Yeah. And Wilson Fisk. Yeah. So that's a whole comic thing as well.
Vincent D'Onofrio is coming back. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Him and
nice.
Charlie Cox. Were
Good.
Which is good.
Very good.
But yeah, otherwise it's very interesting for Marvel. I really hope they take into heart, because especially after the writer's strike, it's really valuing your writers, trying to make things strong. Because, quick point, I was just going to say, because like the problem with Secret Invasion is that there has to be a balance with like honoring the source material, because Secret Invasion itself is such an interesting storyline.
Yeah.
Which is part of why it fell flat, because everyone was like,
they goofed it.
They're not doing it. Like they're
Justice.
not adapting it as well as it could have been. And so otherwise, like at least with Loki, because this is technically whole new terrain in a sense, that this is in the MCU exclusively, like they're adapting this character and put in all these new characters.
Yeah.
But otherwise, let's see how it goes with Marvel TV. And that's a wrap for episode 21, guys. We had a lot of lighter topics this week, at least. Otherwise,
how many more eps we have? How many more weeks left
in what?
The year? We need to have a Christmas tree up soon.
Oh yeah,
November
Christmas episode.
Ding 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 ding.
There'll be a point as well this month where you're gonna see us with like birthday hats, because all of our birthdays are in the next month. So
the race to the end of the year. Let's go.
Let's go.
Like, subscribe.
Yeah. Before you forget, it's like and comment on the video. It's whatever, interact with whatever things that we've said about the previous topics. Ring the bell. Share this to all your friends and family. Also, look up on our Spotify. You can listen to this episode. And otherwise, have a good one, guys.
Say, babes.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.